Hey everyone, welcome back once again. Today we're going to take a look at assembling or reassembling the rear brakes on the 1965 Mustang. If you've watched one of my videos before, one of the previous ones, we took a look at disassembling the donor rear axle that had the set of disc brakes on it. After taking a closer look at those and just what I wanted to do with the car, I actually wanted to go ahead and match the disc brake setup from the front and the back. Just bring the whole project kind of together here. So I've decided not to use the donor disc brakes from the other rear end and instead decided to go with a set of Wilwood rear disc brake kit for the 1965 Mustang here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to put that together here today. Now, one of the other pieces I'll follow up on, as we were looking at that donor axle, we went ahead and pulled out that third member or the differential out of the middle that had the traction locker. I've actually got that installed and ready to go inside the vehicle here. No fluid or anything else yet, but that's already in here and ready to go. So today we're going to go ahead and look at putting the brakes on and we'll call that a day. All right, let's get started. All right, so some of the components we've got in here. So we've got the axle itself, which I've gone ahead and painted and put some new bearings on the end here. We've got a parking brake shoe that comes with the Wilwood kit. So this is actually, if it looks very similar to when if you watch my earlier video taking apart the disc or the drum brakes on the front of the car, very similar idea, except this smaller setup is going to sit on the inside of the rotor and actually work to expand and grab the rotor to act as a parking brake for us to stop on hills or in the case of an emergency. So we'll go ahead and put that on here as well. We've got a retaining bracket that will do that here right now, as well as a gasket to go on the back here to keep any of the fluids or anything kind of sealed up in the back. So we've also got the disc, the rotor, the caliper, and all the other assembly. We'll go ahead and get those out here once we get this set up, but kind of give you a preview for where we're going from here. All right, for those who might not be familiar, what I've actually got here is a torque wrench. This has a setting here on the end. You can set the amount of foot-pounds or the amount of force that's being used to tighten that nut onto that bolt. There's factory specifications for how tight these nuts should be on here. And using my Ford factory manual, the backing plate to the axle should be 35 foot-pounds. We're going to go ahead and set that here. All right, go ahead and grab the rotor and the caliper, and we're going to go ahead and complete this finish setup. All right, so here we've got the Wilwood caliper. I'm going to go ahead and load the caliper by putting the brake pads through the top here. In order to do that, got to loosen this retaining nut and pull out this kind of retaining bracket here. we're going to go ahead and set the rotor on the axle here. This one here is kind of a universal, that's why it has so many different holes, so we got to find the right set of holes here that'll match our axle pattern. And then there's also this spacer washer here that goes with this set, so we'll go ahead and set that in here as well. Now the other part we'll have to do with this Wilwood kit here is to get the rotor, so the rotor piece here, perfectly centered in between the two pads on the caliper. They actually provide in their kit these little washers that are going to go between the surface here and the mounting surface on our bracket on the back here that we just mounted. And those will get fastened here using these bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, get that all set up, add a little Loctite, and we'll be pretty much finished. All right, it looks pretty close. Go ahead and put a little Loctite to hold these bolts so they don't slip out while we're driving. All right, go ahead and torque those down to 40 foot-pounds. All right, that should do it for our Wilwood disc brake setup here. I'll go ahead and get some brake clean these off, get all the grease and everything off. We'll need to put on a brake hose in a separately supplied kit from Wilwood. We'll run that right to our steel lines that are going to be brand new and replaced here on the Mustang, but yet to be put in. So we'll go ahead and hold off on that for now, and we'll do that in a future project. So thanks for joining me today. Come back when we start working on the front brakes. Thanks.